everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
This is Soimwatching You, Season 5, Episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yeah. So we watched them like a day or two ago. We were just going to plow through, and then I was like, we should probably at least acknowledge a handful of the things that happened, because it's been a wild ride.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with you. When we got to the end of this seventh episode, you were like, I feel like if this wasn't going to be the series finale, that's where it would have ended.
Yeah, that would have been the season finale for sure.
I am loving this. There was a moment. There was a moment in episode 5. I'm not going to lie. I was white knuckling it.
Yeah. Okay.
We have footage of me.
Okay. So we both kind of were, because it was getting to the point where we were like, oh God, like Bronte is just it's just the same thing. Like she's just catnip to him, and it's like, it's just the cycles, the whole thing. And so then he basically tracks her down to this beach house in, like, I don't remember what, Atlantic Beach
City.
No, they said Atlantic Beach, New York. Atlantic City's in New Jersey, so it's different.
I was gonna say it wasn't looking the way I thought it was going to.
Right, yeah. It was just like a really cozy,
less burger puns on
a really cozy little beach house.
But so she was being inconsistent, and it was annoying me like 3 ways over. And also, because of all the fantasy sequences, I was having a hard time keeping track what was actually happening.
What was real, yeah.
But like they were like getting together, and she freaked out for some reason, and it was weird to us, and we couldn't figure out. And she ran away to this beach house, and then she like calls him, but not. She was being super weird.
Yeah.
And inconsistent is the key.
Yeah. So he gets there, and they end up like kind of coming out about everything, and they end up doing the kink. He ties her up and blindfolds her. I just like babies first, you know, not 100% vanilla sex. So it was like, that was all like great and whatever. But then the next day, Clayton is like downstairs, or I guess it's maybe just later that night. Regardless, he's downstairs. He's fighting with Bronte, and you're like, oh God. He's like, yeah, like an abusive ex-boyfriend. Like, this absolutely sucks. What's going on? And Joe, like, rips him off of Bronte and is like, they're beating each other up. And then he's got him down on the ground, and he looks over to Bronte for, like, confirmation, kind of. Mm-hmm. She doesn't nod or shake her head or anything. And he smashes his head on the fireplace, mantle. Like, not really a mantle, but, like, whatever's on the ground. And that is, like, literally just in time for the other two, Phoenix and Dom, to come in, and they're recording.
We got you, motherfucker!
So they got him on tape, basically murdering someone, and they were live, too, so it was, like, already out. And so we literally were like, holy shit, oh my God. And then the entire episode 6 was Bronte telling this story in the precinct, and I went on such a journey. Because they basically, she was she was Beck's TA, and so she, like, really knew her pretty well, but then she had to move back.
Beck was that, like, special professor who believed in her and, like, inspired her.
And was good at her writing was good, and, like, but what about, and it was very important to, like.
Beck had that quality. I'm such a sucker I love Elizabeth Lyle.
She's great, Lale, I think, yeah.
She was Anna from Frozen on Once Upon a Time.
So she also was very important, made that one comment about Ibsen, the playwright, because Bronte Louise had made a comment about Ibsen being a feminist. Mm-hmm. And so then after Beck died and she read her book, there was like a pro-Ibsen line in her book. And she was like, that's really weird and not correct. And because she had gone back to Ohio because her mom was like sick and dying. So she then was like on the message boards and stuff, and that's how she hooked up with the other 3. Clayton is Dr. Nikki's son.
Sure.
And he's trying to exonerate him. And so they basically all have kind of weird anecdotes, like anecdotal evidence about Joe specifically.
It was a really gratifying watching experience because I was on the ropes.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I can continue this because there's only so much lifting Anna Camp can do.
Of course.
And I had kind of figured Bronte was pinging my suspicions the whole time, and I guess I just went too far. Like I was thinking she was working with the cops or something. I really like the
like
splitting
citizen
the
detective thing. Yeah,
I really like splitting the difference, and also that makes it for me more believable or easier to suspend disbelief because I know what a thing that is. Like there are citizen detectives. It's a thing. First of all, I've watched a couple documentaries. I watch Yellow Jackets, like Meredith Salinger, you guys, all the murder podcasts. Yeah. And so the notion that 3 kind of hipsters would take this on to get him fit the chaos of the show, of like the established world. And so I liked it better. I really liked that.
Yeah, so she's in the precinct doing this whole thing, and it was actually fascinating because she was really gung-ho for like a long time. She was like, they were all kind of trying to infiltrate Lockwood Corp or whatever. So she was like trying to get a job in the mailroom, and the rest of them were like all trying to like do what Dom was at the catering company that they used a lot. And then she just like legitimately she just went rogue and she broke into the bookstore and almost got caught, and then she broke into the bookstore and did get caught.
Well, and sorry, the other thing that I was going to say is like we've established at this point that he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
But also part of the fun of the show, or part of the way the show is engineered, is we are in his perspective.
Right.
So it is very easy to get to root for him and or get caught up in the muddied gray nature of it. And even though what they are doing is morally righteous, it was pinging me weird that they did entrap him the way that they did. Like they facilitated this.
It's not illegal though.
I know it's not, but and again, like I knew I know he deserves it, but there was part of me that was sort of like, you cheated.
Yeah, sure.
Like you can't.
So,
and the fact that this show picked up on that.
Sure. So the thing for me is that like it's illegal when actual law enforcement entraps people. So I do and I don't. I do and I don't agree with you because like, yeah, it's like sort of sneaky and underhanded, but he is sneakily, underhandedly murdering people.
Yeah, but we know that. They just suspect him. And so what they've done is created a victim, endeared him to her, and then put her in a dangerous situation where he protected her and then used that as evidence to and again, they're correct, but that is sort of...
Well, that's what I really liked. That's the muddy part that I liked that got the most interesting, is that I think Clayton went rogue. That's the issue, is Clayton didn't actually care about putting Joe away. He only cared about exonerating his father. And so at the end, when she was like, Clayton's objectivity is compromised, he was willing to have me potentially be killed in order to prove his point. And like, I don't, like, that's not correct, you know? And so she goes through like a whole journey, because when she does get caught, then the two of them meet her after, and she's like, I think he likes me. Like, I think we can get at him this way because I think he likes me. And so that's where the inconsistencies come in, because sometimes she's playing Bronte and sometimes she is Louise, who's scared of him. And I found the whole thing very interesting, very cool.
And it did that thing where when I was watching it, up until that point, I felt like I was doing something wrong, where I was like, did I miss something? Why is this scene not making sense to me?
Yeah.
And then when we have the reveal, I'm like, oh, and so it was very gratifying as a viewer. But we end up with kind of what makes the show interesting as a whole, is all of this is only really so much of a problem because he's handsome and charming.
Right.
So it's like...
Well, and it's also like
So it turns out Louise has actually just gone ahead and fallen for him.
Yeah, so she also...
Kind of.
She sort of helps him out. She basically is like, I was scared for my life. I was scared that Clayton was going to do something. It was self-defense. Dom and Phoenix don't know that, but she does end up leaving. They're place because she's like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I don't believe that what we're doing is the right thing because Clayton got compromised, basically. And so then basically Joe does make it home, and even although it kind of annoyed me a little, except it was such a like hammer, like at the end, he gets home. And earlier in the day, Kate had been talking to Teddy and was like, we can't let him know we know. And so Joe walks in the door and she's like, I know who you are and what you are and everything that you've done. And also I've taken your son and there's bodyguards in the kitchen. And so it's like, it was very don't say anything. And then she immediately said all of it. But it worked.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was really gratifying.
So the paperwork that he signed to get out of jail included an emergency custody agreement. And so he's lost Henry, basically. And then he does end up finding out where Henry is with Teddy, and Teddy is gone now. He's like left Kate in the lurch, basically. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I had no Kayla. You're only trying to protect yourself. I think he's going a little too
well, I would be fine if he actually just exited the show at this point.
And lived.
Yeah, because I don't want anything to happen to him, but I agree where it's like, again, everything, he is correct.
Yeah.
He is morally, ethically correct. However, again, given the nature of the show, he's slipped into a slightly antagonistic position.
Right.
And I don't want a character that I like, who I'm afraid is in mortal danger, to in any way, shape, or form be playing an antagonist to one or two of these characters. Yeah. So in that regard, I would rather just ship him off, even though I think it would kind of do him a disservice. I have a feeling something's going to happen.
I think we're going to see him again, at least.
Yeah.
So that's basically what's going on there. Maddie has also been being Reagan because Reagan is dead. Kate was working with her too. Kate was like, we're going to send you to a spa as Reagan. And then something's going to happen, and then you can come back as Maddie. I
am pretty convinced that this is, in fact, Maddie. I'm only leaving it open for them to pull a crazy shenanigan. Yeah. I can't imagine that they would, and if they were going to, I would need them to show their work. But I do think it is notable we did not watch either one expire. We only saw the aftermath. Yeah. I'm just leaving it open that this could be some Reagan master scheme.
No, I get it, but it's like at some point someone had to dispose of Reagan's body because they like did a live stream.
I still think the ear is going to come back, but
could be, maybe.
Although we already have the insulin in play. That's a lot of like MacGuffins.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's my main problem is that like Maddie.
I believe it's Maddie. I do.
Yeah, Reagan couldn't have killed Maddie with the insulin. Because it wouldn't have affected her the way it would affect.
I thought it would.
No.
Oh.
Maddie needs the insulin.
Uh-huh.
Reagan doesn't need the insulin, so it flooded her body with it. Overdosing on insulin is an excellent way to murder somebody. It's kind of untraceable because your body produces insulin, so they don't test for it.
So that's what I thought. Maddie overdosed Reagan on insulin.
Reagan's not diabetic.
You have to be diabetic to overdose on insulin?
No. You have to be not diabetic to overdose on insulin. But Maddie is diabetic, so Reagan could not have overdosed her.
Understand.
On insulin.
I understand.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm not getting it. And you're angry, so
who's on first?
I'm there.
No, it's because Maddie needs the insulin. Mm-hmm. She needs extra insulin. It would have elevated her probably too high because she wasn't due for it, but she would have been fine. I think at this point we've gone too many episodes for it to be a switcheroo now, and I had to. No, yeah.
To cover my ass, like feel like I'm aware that the show could
do it. It's hard enough for Maddie to be Reagan. I don't think for 1 second Reagan has that softness in her to actually be Maddie. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And we're truly fantastic performances from Anna Camp. Number one in her, you name drop Smeagol and Gollum.
Yeah. Oh my God. In the mirror, that was incredible.
And then also playing Reagan, kicking Joe's ass. It is so gratifying watching.
She really did have him on the ropes. Like pretty good.
And you're right. Like 'cause when he was going into it, you were like, come on, dude.
There's no way this bitch does not take Krav Maga.
Like more taekwondo than.
Come on. So So yeah,
throwing bowling balls at him. Like
she did huck 2 bowling balls at him. So okay, so then the episode 7 was also.
But you're right. Kate now knows.
Kate now knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Maddie basically admitted it to her. Okay, so in episode 7, Joe is everywhere. It's viral. They can't really get it off the internet because it's already been everywhere. People are looking at him weird on the street. Like all kinds. It's very funny. It's hilarious. He enlists Maddie's help as PR to like help him get on Heidi Gardner's Instagram ish news ish.
Yeah, she's like an influencer / like
pundit.
Yeah,
kind of. It's incredible. She literally gives him one objective. She's like, you need to make yourself be sympathetic, and you absolutely cannot cry.
There's nothing more
revolting than a man crying in a situation like this. So they end up having to take the whole production down into the basement to show them the cage and like explain away and blah 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 whatever. And he starts fucking crying. Because Mr. Mooney used to lock him in there. And I'm just like, how have you not unpacked this yet? You're using this as a torture for other people and you have not unpacked this yet? Unbelievable. Maddie is like, get it together. What the fuck is wrong with you? And so they finish the thing, and by the comments on the live, it's kind of going his way again. However, Kate has already gone to London with Henry to try and get the girl from last season, Nadia, I think, out of jail.
We did have a spectacular encore, like victory lap from previous cast members.
Oh my god, yeah.
Including
Sherry and Carrie?
Yeah, well, yes, Barry the lead, Sherry and Carrie, which I was the most excited for. But Saffron Burrows.
Oh my god, yeah.
And so they did all their like hashtag Joe Goldberg is like a jerk, but then there was like a backlash to the backlash and then a cancel to the cancel. And
well, because Sherry and Carrie were like, it was love Quinge because she was fucking crazy. So it's not like they're on Joe's side, but they're more like it was love that did that. So it was, I don't know. It was really interesting, really good.
And then Bronte is still trying to figure out like,
because the internet has turned on her now. And she almost gets abducted by like an incel bro from the internet, but Joe manages to see it and rescues her, and then she's locked up back in that apartment above Mooney's, like tied up to the bed. So
we somehow have 3 episodes left.
I know, crazy.
What do you want? Do you want him
prison?
I was gonna say, do you want him to get away with it? Do you want him in jail, or do you want him dead?
Jail.
Jail? Okay.
He'd hate that the most. You can't put him in jail. He'd hate it there. No, yeah, he would hate that the most, I think.
I don't think I want him to get away with it. There are points where I have, not here. This is the end.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing, is like every season I've wanted him to get away with it. But now that I know this is the final season, I want him to get caught.
I think I want Kate to take him down.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want him to get her. I think she's been a little bit sidelined. That's fine. It's not called Kate.
Right.
She's no longer you.
That's true.
Bronte is.
It's Bronte.
I like her as the hero. I want her to
Kate?
be the one to do it.
Yeah.
And I want her to have Henry. I don't know how much I buy how much because they have made a point to show us him caring about Henry and like reading to him. But I can't maintain. Yeah, but I can't get if I think that that's just his own vanity.
It is. It's just making Henry a mirror of himself. Because every time he says something about a book, he's like, "Oh, there's my book," and I'm like, "Gross." Like, what if he wants to play football?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, man?
So yeah, I want Kate to be. I want her to be victorious.
Yeah.
I don't really care what happens to Bronte.
Okay. Okay. I don't really care. I think it would be narratively interesting if she wised up in time to like help Kate take him down. But I would not be surprised if she was a casualty as well. So I could kind of go either way.
And I want Maddie to survive this.
Yeah, I would actually love if no one else died. I would be fine if no one else died. No one else of consequence.
Like we're gonna get
at least one more probably. But I would love if no one else of real consequence died. That would be fine with me. But we'll see.
And then he rides his boat off into the hurricane.
No, prison.
Okay, we're gonna watch the last 3 episodes.
Bye.